In this video, we are going to be installing a dash camera that's got a few tricks up its sleeve that I haven't seen before in a dash camera. The biggest one being thermal night vision. But there's a few other cool tricks this thing can do as well, so you're going to want to stay tuned. Now, how we do these videos, because I don't want to waste your time, is first, I don't do unboxing videos. I think they're a waste of time and they insult your intelligence. Pretty sure you know how to open a box. But what we do is we put timestamps down below, so you can jump around the video and watch the stuff that you care about and ignore the stuff you don't. So those will be down below. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over what this thing is, then we're going to thoroughly test it, and at the end we're going to go over all the pros and cons so you can decide if this is something you want to spend your hard-earned money on. Now, this system is the VanTrue Pilot 2. Your typical camera has a forward-facing camera. Some have ones that film inside the cabin, and some film out the back. I haven't seen one with this feature. This is that forward-facing infrared camera. That camera can see in total darkness. It's not night vision, it's infrared. It picks up heat signatures. And what's really cool about that is people, cars, and things like that give off heat signatures. So it can actually calculate distance to how far things are in front of you and alert you if that thing is a threat on the little screen that's mounted on my dash. So not only is it a dash camera, it's a safety feature, and that'll show you live what's going on in front of you, showing you things you can't see. And that little screen, if you've got a car that doesn't have CarPlay, also comes packed with CarPlay. So this is a pretty action-packed system. But you're going to want to stay tuned to the end to see if it all works well together and if it's something you want to buy. So if you want to check out all the specs on this camera, or if you're interested in picking one up, I will have a link down below so you can check it out for yourself. So first, let's get into the install. I'm going to go over very quickly and easily how I installed this thing. If you're interested in a more in-depth install video, I do have another video on the channel that shows how to install cameras, how to tuck wires, how to run things into your fuse panel. But this one installs pretty similar to most other dash cameras. You install the cameras on the back window and the front window. Where the wiring is a little different with this is the wiring from the back camera you loop around to the front camera. You tuck it along your headliner. Then the wire from the front camera runs down to your dashboard to the screen unit. The next thing you have to install is that infrared camera, and there's two places to install it. One of it is on top of the hood, which is where I have mine, and the other place you can install it is up on your front grille. This is probably the most difficult part of the install because you've got to figure out how to get wiring from the inside of your car to the front of your car. And in my case, I go through the firewall. There's a bushing in there that you can actually get right through, but you're going to want to check for your particular car the easiest way to set that up. Now, the next challenge is powering the camera, and you can power it two different ways. You can plug it straight into your cigarette lighter socket, or you can hardwire it into your car. I would recommend hardwiring it into your car, which is what I chose to do after the initial run through of this, because then it'll continue to power the camera even when the car is off, and it'll shut down the camera if it draws the battery too low. Now, in addition to the install of the camera, there's also the installation of the software onto your phone. And for this, you're gonna download the VanTrue software. Something I love about this software package, it's one of the first ones that I've gotten where it doesn't require you to sign up for an account. You can run all the software on this thing without an account, and it ties to your camera through the camera's Wi-Fi. So the camera has its own Wi-Fi network. You log into that, and then you can control everything from your phone. Now, you can control everything on this camera also from the camera. Where you would want to connect it to your phone is if you ever had to download footage from the camera. You can also just pull the SD card out of it completely and put it in a computer. So technically, you don't even need the app to run it, and I really do appreciate that. So now it's time to get the camera out on the road. The first camera we're looking at is the forward-facing camera, and the first thing I noticed with this camera is it is not a 1080 or a 4K camera. It is a 2560 by 1440, and if you're asking yourself, what the heck is that? So was I had to look it up. It is a Quad HD or a QHD resolution, so it's halfway between 1080 and 4K. However, it still did give me the ability to crop in and get good shots of license plates, which is very, very important on a dash camera. The rear-facing camera is a standard 1080p camera, and something I do want to point out is the information along the bottom. That's very important stuff on a dash camera. It gives you all the information you're going to need in an accident or to defend yourself against a speeding ticket. It's got the time, the date, the coordinates, your location, and the speed that you're traveling, and it records that on every camera except for the IR camera. The next camera is that IR camera. This is the one that's mounted up on the hood. And as you can see, the resolution on the IR cameras is not as great as the other ones, but that's not really the point of these. The point of these is to give you more advanced warning. And this thing can see through fog, it can see through heavy clouds if you're driving high up in the mountains, and it can see with zero light because it picks up heat signatures. So what you can see here is the undercarriages of cars being warm, the exhaust, the road's a little bit warmer than the terrain around me, but in this scene, I'm actually driving through fog and I can see everything up ahead perfectly clear. Now this footage here is the raw video that the camera records, not what is being displayed on the screen inside the car. What it displays in the car has a lot more cool information on it. We'll show that in just a minute. Now another thing that gets glossed over a lot in security camera videos like this is the recording of what's happening inside the cabin and the voice. And that's actually really important if you wind up in a situation where you get pulled over and it's your word against the officers. You have an audio recording. So this is what the audio sounds like being recorded by the microphones inside my car. Now, aside from the IR camera, which is something that I've never had before, this is also something I never had before. A live screen mounted on my dash that kind of shows all the information, and it also gives you CarPlay, which I mentioned earlier. But what is really nice about this is you can do everything you need to do through this. You don't have to use your phone, you don't have to use the app, but this gives you ultimate control over all of your cameras. Now, the other thing this screen does is it works in conjunction with that IR camera. And you can see here, I showed before the footage, the raw footage on the drive, this is what you see in the car. It actually puts a little green box around every other vehicle, pedestrian, and animal that it comes across. And it'll actually warn you when something becomes a threat. Once I get onto the freeway, if I am too close to the car in front of me, it'll turn that box bright red. In other scenes where I had a raccoon in my neighborhood and it was about to cross the path of my vehicle, it turned that bright red as well. And you can also set an alert tone to come on if that's something you want where it alert you when there's a possible hazard coming up ahead of you. Another place where I've had cameras fall off is here at night. And fortunately, this camera actually did very, very well at night with its Sony sensors. It did a great job in low light and almost no light, and I can still pick out details on cars, license plates, road signs, and everything else through the forward-facing camera, as well as that rear-facing camera. And the other neat thing is playing around with the IR camera at night. This is what it looks like going down the road at night. Okay, so we've showed you the install, we showed you it going down the road and how all that works. Now it's time to go over the pros and the cons of this camera so you can decide if this is a camera you want to spend your hard-earned money on. So the first thing is the pros. I wish I had heard of this camera before I had installed all my CarPlay and all that stuff in my other car, my Prius, which has got the worst infotainment center ever made. Thanks, Toyota. Because this would have solved everything. It would have gotten me my CarPlay, which this thing has, and it also would have gotten me all of my cameras. So having all the cameras and CarPlay in one solves that solution for somebody who has an older car that doesn't already have CarPlay and already doesn't have a dash camera system in it. As you saw in the video, the resolution on the forward, rear, and cabin-facing cameras was all very good. I could pick up license plates from a good distance away. The user interface on this thing is very simple. If you're familiar with CarPlay or Android Connect or anything like that, it functions pretty much the same way. And what I really like about it is so many of these cameras, you have to do everything by logging into the camera through your phone, and you need an account. With this thing, you can do everything from the camera and the little screen in your car itself. I've become addicted to the infrared camera on this thing. I run it pretty much all the time. I'm just kind of fascinated by it. But I live in an area where some of the roads out here are pretty rural, and even in my neighborhood, we get a lot of things like raccoons running around. And just the other night, I was coming into my neighborhood and I saw a red blip on the screen. It happened to be a raccoon that was running across somebody's front yard that would have run right in front of my truck had I not seen it on the camera. So it's not just a novelty, it is actually a safety feature. We also off-road a lot out in the desert, and oftentimes out there are no streetlights. We're in the middle of nowhere, so having something that can see a little bit further and see out of the field of where all my lights are is also a definite plus. I suppose another nice thing, which doesn't really affect me, but if you happen to be like a Lyft or an Uber driver, having something that displays very clearly, hey, I've got cameras running, here's the screen, is great for your personal safety. Not something that directly affects me, but if that might be you, it's something to think about. So you saw the excellent performance of this camera earlier on in the video, and then we just went over all the other pros I ran into, but now it's time to go over the cons and kind of things to consider if this is something you're going to be putting in your car. And a lot of these aren't necessarily cons, it's just stuff to consider. The first one is ease of installation. Now, this was not a complicated install, but it was more complicated than your standard stick it on your front glass and call it a day dash camera. Because it's got the rear camera and it's got the IR camera, you have a lot more wires to run. The other thing with most other cameras is you're not running wires across your dash to the middle of the dash, you're kind of just stuffing it down to get power. So you do need to find creative ways to tuck wires around your car so they're not visible and everything looks clean. Now, the most complicated part of this install is going to be running the wiring for the infrared camera, because you do have to get wiring from the cabin of your car to in front of the firewall, and every car is going to be different. So before you start doing this, you should probably look and see how your car is set up and how you're going to get that wire from inside the car to outside the car and do it cleanly. And that brings me to my next thing, the infrared camera. It comes with two different mounts. The mount that I have here is for the top of the hood, which works great in most situations. However, the hood on my truck has a little bit of a lip, which means the camera mounts a little bit low. Also, the way my windshield wipers are set up, I can't mount it directly in the middle. It's a little bit off to the side. So the image on mine is 6 inches to the left, but also the bottom, probably 1/8 of the screen is taken up by the hood. Now, the other option with that would be to mount the camera to my front grille, and it does have the brackets to do that. However, because of how I had to mount the wiring all the way through the cab of my truck and to the front, I was about 2 feet short to get the wire all the way to the front. But it is something to think about, is how you're going to be running your wiring and how it's going to get all the way up to the front. Another little complication that I ran into is the screen itself. It comes with a very large plate that is meant to stick to your dashboard. And some people don't like sticking things to their dashboard. I happen to be one of them. But the other thing is the only place I can put it, the only flat place I can put it on my dashboard, is a little bit too small for that plate. So I had to actually remove a little bit of material to get it to sit flat in the little tray up on my dash. Now, something I did notice is it is on there with a thread mount, and it's a standard tripod thread mount. So you could get a different mount, and I actually thought about, because I have some ram mount stuff, using a ram mount ball and putting it on my dash that way. And I may still go that direction, but just know you're going to want to figure out how you're going to put it in your car and how you're going to mount it before you buy it and start installing everything. The rear-facing camera is an interior-only camera. It is not an exterior camera. So if you have a situation, say you've got a cargo truck so you don't have a back window, it is not a waterproof camera and it's not a waterproof connection. So you can't mount the rear-facing camera outside of your vehicle. And if you know this truck from other videos, I used to have a camper shell on this thing. Fortunately, I was removing it at the same time, so it's not an issue here. But if I had had that shell, that camera would have had to have been looking through 3 panes of glass and get a really crummy view out the back. One quirk that I did run into that I think you should know about is this one. I live in Southern California where it gets extremely sunny, and when the IR camera, and it's only the IR camera, is pointed directly into the setting sun, I get this message. It says strong light detected and the camera will be disabled until it gets less bright. Fine, that's understandable, but this also happens. When that error message is up, it basically locks up all of the menus. You can't go through menus, you can't pull footage, you can't do anything. So I did a little experiment. I hopped out of my can and I put a Coke Zero can in front of the camera. Nectar of the gods, fight me in the comments. And lo and behold, now everything seems to work fine because I'm shading the camera. So it's not a heat issue, it's a brightness issue. But the other thing is now I can get through all the menus. Now, I did note that while the camera is disabled, all of the other dash cameras do work and record, but the locking out of menus thing seems to be more of a software issue that hopefully they can fix in a firmware update. So I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you learned something, and I hope this helped you make a decision whether this is a camera system that you want to put on your car. Now, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. I'm always happy to answer those questions. I'm also down there in the pinned comment and in the description going to have links for this thing if you want to check it out and check out all the specs for yourself. If you like videos like this, honest reviews where we actually go through everything, don't waste your time with a bunch of fluff, and give you an honest pro and con at the end, hit that subscribe button. It'll let you know when we put out more stuff, and it really does help out the channel. And I think I'm required by the YouTube gods to say, give this video a great big thumbs up. Thanks for watching.